Welcome to When Love Isn't Enough Talk. I'm Sheila M, an empowerment coach with Sheila M Coaching.
I'm Regina Barbour. I'm a family and marriage coach at God Works Coaching. And together with Sheila, we're here to help you navigate the complexities of love, relationships, and everything in between.
At When Love Isn't Enough Talk, we believe relationships are one of the most fulfilling parts of life, but also some of the most challenging. And sometimes, as much as we want to believe that love alone can conquer all,
Is just not enough. And that's where we come in. Through this series, we're here to help you build strong relationships that will thrive on trust, communication, respect, and most importantly, faith. All of these are pillars that's going to hold love all together.
this series is inspired by my book, When Love Isn't Enough, Should I Stay or Go? And each episode is designed to unpack topics like recognizing emotional barriers, setting healthy boundaries, and even rebuilding trust after it's been broken.
With practical tools, share real life experiences, and tackle your most pressing questions about relationships. And don't worry, we are here to walk you through with interactive tools and fun. Regardless of all the challenges we may encounter, we're going to make sure we provide you with the tips that you need to get you through this journey.
If you're looking to strengthen your relationships, make tough decisions, or simply gain clarity about your next steps, this series is for you.
We all know that relationships are not easy, but you don't have to do this alone. We're here to walk you through this. None of us was called to do life alone. We're here to walk you through this journey, and we're inviting you to go along on this journey.
We'd love you to join the conversation. Share your thoughts, your experiences, questions, and even answers as we're going along in the comment section. Let's build a supportive community together. So subscribe to the Sheila M Coaching channel, grab a copy of When Love Isn't Enough, and join us as we dive into our first episode.
Today, we're exploring why love alone isn't enough and how to build the foundations that last forever.
Now, before we get started, I don't want to forget, make sure you stay to the end so you can learn about our free resource for this week. Love brought them together, but without trust, communication, and shared goals, the pressures of life began to pull them apart. Let me share with you a brief passage out of the book about Jordan and Whitney. They met in college, and from the very beginning, were inseparable. Their love was the stuff of dreams, romantic dinners, late night talks about the future, and shared plans for a life together. But when the trials of adulthood came knocking, financial stress, job loss, family obligations, the cracks in their relationship began to show. Love, it seemed, was no longer enough to keep them from drifting apart. They were holding on to love, but their relationship had no foundation to withstand the real world pressures that had begun to weigh them down. That part of their story lets us know that romantic love can be powerful, but relying on it alone can lead to disappointment when life gets tough.
I really agree with you, Sheila, about life and love being powerful. It's exhilarating, it's wonderful, it's grand. However, you have to remember that love is a feeling, and feeling can't pay bills, it cannot handle life stresses, and it definitely can't handle life obligations. So that's one thing we must remember, that love is just a feeling.
Think of relationships like a house. Love is the cornerstone, but trust, communication, and faith are the beams that hold everything together.
I love that narration. In talking about and using the analogy of a relationship being like a house. Nowadays, I live in South Florida. You see these sinkholes and houses just implode because the foundation underneath it has washed away. The same thing goes with, friends that I've had that have had problems with the foundations of their house. And they spend thousands and thousands of dollars trying to repair that damage so that their house will be strong and safe. I myself am a romantic at heart. And, I've always compared my relationships to what I've seen on TV. I want that kind of romance. But I think it's important, instead of rushing into love, to really get to know the person and to use guides like When Love Isn't Enough, that through each chapter starts talking to you about the fundamental things that you need to discuss, come to terms with, and understand about that person before moving too fast. Because oftentimes you can mess up a good thing only because you did not follow a process and steps that would definitely build a strong foundation for your relationship. All right, we got these tips coming, so I hope you're ready. You got your pen and paper. Are you just going to listen to this again? Or, hey, you're going to have the book, so you'll be able to tap into these tips and even more. Practical tips for strengthening foundations. Tip number 1, set a spiritual foundation.
Shared faith offers perspective and keeps couples aligned during tough times. So preparing and putting in place a spiritual foundation is so necessary to build a strong spiritual foundation.
All right. Tip number 2, communicate openly.
Listening with understanding and respect definitely strengthens your bond and resolves misunderstandings. Oftentimes, when we're listening really just to reply and not really listening to take time to understand. And this is a very important key to implementing your relationship.
Agree. As someone who likes to get their point across, it's been tough at times for me to actively listen. And that means forget about what I want to say. Sometimes I have pulled out my phone and made some notes so I can plug in because I don't want to forget what I'm saying. But it's just important in showing respect and letting your partner know that you care about what's going on with them and what they have to say. And you're not cutting them off, you're not finishing their sentences, and you don't already have your answer prepared. People sense that. I know I hit the ceiling when that happens to me, but I have to be honest, that's a work in progress. So you're not alone if you're there too.
I'm guilty, Sheila. I'm guilty.
Most of us are. All right. Tip number 3, build trust daily.
Trust is something that's just not built overnight. It must be earned through reliable actions over time. And I realize when I'm seeing clients, this is a key fault that many clients struggle with. Some people give away their trust, but it must be earned. And I like how Sheila brought out that point that it's earned through reliable actions, not just actions, but reliable actions. And that's what causes the relationship to be strengthened in the trust factor.
Yes. Tip number 4, mutual respect. Wow, that word respect comes up a lot in relationships.
Respect honors your partners individually and creates a safe space for love to grow. If there is no respect, you're not going to have a virtuous relationship. Respect must be there in order to move on and have a strong foundation.
Yeah, I think you got to consider, I think you treat people how you want to be treated. And to feel disrespected or not valued in a relationship is definitely going to be a cause of it not continuing, because who would want to stay in that? It becomes self-defeating for you. It challenges your self-esteem. And, this person that perhaps you want to spend the rest of your life with, isn't honoring you. I had a pastor, and he used to say, if they don't celebrate you, go somewhere where they do. And I think that's how we feel individually. And so oftentimes we're busy, and we're just not focused. And so our partners have things to say, they're going through things, and we're not connected. We're not in the moment with them, and they feel disrespected and not cared about. So, that's something that I'm sure we all have to slow down at times and just listen to what's going on with our partner and make sure that they know that we care.
Well, I like how you brought out about respect creating a safe place to grow. And when I read that in your book, I thought that was such a great point, because your relationship won't grow if respect is not there. You don't feel safe. You don't feel safe to share. You don't feel safe to open up. You're not safe to be vulnerable. That part of you that you'll keep hidden. So that is a key aspect about respect. So I really like that point in the book.
All right, drum roll. Tip number 5, create shared goals.
Shared goals give your relationship direction, and it deepens your connection. Shared goals are very vital in a relationship. I often have my couples create goals in for their family, for their spiritual life, for their emotional life. Every aspect of their life, I encourage them to set goals. That, again, allows that couple to bond in a special way and deepen their connection.
Yeah, I think you don't have to lose yourself in this, because I have career goals. You want to run a marathon. There'll be things that you'll do for you. But as a couple, if you're moving forward, you really need to sit down and talk about some things that you can achieve together. And the important thing with this is we're all busy. Write it down. Right? Keep a calendar. I mean, that can be your thing where you all are checking in with each other once a week, once every 2 weeks, specifically on your goals. And then as you accomplish things together, how much greater the bond begins to grow.
I like that point about having them check in, Sheila. And I think that helps couples stay accountable with each other on the goals. And when one party in the couple is failing, that helps motivate them. So I like that tip that you provided, and checking in, seeing how they're coming along with their goals.
In while we're talking about things that they're doing together, just had a conversation just the other day, and the client was talking about how this is 50-50. I'm showing up, where are you? And that's not what relationships are about. One day you're 90, he's 10, the next day he's 60, you're 40. I mean, you cover each other. And so, I think it's something that's layered. You begin to get those common goals, you begin to respect each other, so that you're building this cohesiveness, so that you can really rely on each other. And then you check in on each other to see how you're doing. You shouldn't be in a relationship where you're going outside of it, for key things. Like, this is your partner. And if you're married, this is your life partner. Put the investment in there so that you two can grow together. All righty. Well, we want to just step aside for a second and just give you something to think about. And so, as we're not live, this is recorded. All right, we've come to our section of the episode that we call reflective questions. And we just want you to be engaged and understand how we're working along with you. That's how the book is. It's a guide. And the great thing is you can continuously go back and go back and go back, because the 15 chapters are all covering different aspects of relationships. But along the way, we just don't want to talk to you. We want you to think about what's being said. And so our first reflective question is, what are your relationship's strongest and weakest pillars? Now, answer that in the chat for us. I mean, I think it helps all of us to see what other people are thinking about. And so we want to see your comments. We're going to actually reply. We're going to be totally engaged in this chat and find out more about you and what's going on in your relationships. Regina, help us with question 2.
Question 2. Which do you think is most important for a strong relationship? Is it trust? Is it communication, respect, or shared faith? And if so, why? Don't forget to share your answers in the comments. We do want to hear what you have to say.
All right, so this is episode 1. Continue with us. We're not done yet, and I want to talk to you about our free resource. But in recapping what we've talked about, love is vital, but it's the foundation of trust, communication, respect, and faith that keeps your relationship standing strong.
By strengthening these pillars, you can build a relationship that's not only surviving, but thriving. You don't have to survive in your relationship. You can get this book, apply these tips, and learn how to thrive in your relationship.
Thank you for joining us today. We want to hear from you. Please DM us, send us messages in the chat. We want to understand what your challenges are and how we can be of assistance to you. And let us know. We're considering going live every once in a while. Is that something you'd like? Let us know.
Don't forget, mark your calendars to join us next time when we dig into exploring communication, the key to understanding and connecting.
And now please help us spread this valuable resource. You know, you got friends, cousins, and them that are going through challenges, are even looking for love, and they don't have any of the answers yet. Well, this is a good opportunity for them to really find out what consists of a strong relationship and what things need to be a part of that. When Love Isn't Enough will certainly be a guide that will help them in that area. Now, I said hold on to the end. So each episode, we're going to have a free resource. Down below, check out the free resource download today. Would you like more information about Sheila M Coaching, our Good Works Coaching? You can find Regina and my Sheila M contact information below. We look forward to hearing from you.
Next time, take care, and remember, you don't have to do life alone. Come and do life with us.
This is Sheila M.
This is Regina Barbour.
Wishing you clarity, courage, and connection as you navigate your journey to a healthier, stronger relationship.